What's up? This is Anthony from Everything Practical, and today I'm doing a follow-up video to my first video of my review and setup of the SodaStream. This is 10, maybe 11 tips and tricks you should know when using your SodaStream. Now this isn't necessarily only for the SodaStream One Touch Fizzy, this also pertains to other SodaStreams on the market. Now if you're feeling the need to jump around in this video between tricks 1 through 10, maybe 11, then check down in the timeline below for where you'll find each tip. Without wasting any time, let's get right on into it. Tip number 1. Now tip number 1 is specifically for the One Touch system or another system that SodaStream has that has a plug. I had a lot of questions on the first video that I did, and this is how to plug in the SodaStream, but also how to neatly stick away the cord. Now on the One Touch here, the cord plugs in to the bottom of the system. So you flip over your OneStream, take the power cord, which has a 90-degree bend to it, and then you stick it in to the outlet socket. Now, you might see inside that there's a couple plastic grooves inside. Maybe I can get this on camera. Let me hide my face so it can maybe focus on this. There's 2 or 3 grooves where you can actually stick the power cord, so when you're sitting your system on the table, it's not wobbling around and it can sit flat. So after you've plugged it in, you can thread in or just stick into the top of these grooves your cable, and then out of the back. There we go, nice and clean looking. And then you can lay your SodaStream flat on your table without sitting it on top of the cord. Tip number 2. Now tip number 2 is putting in and taking out your CO2 canister. When you first get your SodaStream, you'll have a full CO2 canister. To put in the CO2 canister, you may think you need to put it all the way in through the bottom, slide the SodaStream over the top, and then put it in and screw it on. But if you have a new canister, you can just slide it into the top of the SodaStream, lift the SodaStream up just a little bit, and then screw it in. You want to screw it in about hand tight, not over tighten it because you don't want to break anything inside. Hand tight is good enough. Now once you have your CO2 canister installed back into your SodaStream, the easiest way to put the back on is to put this notch at the bottom first and then just slide it back on. Bam, there you go, just a couple seconds and everything's hooked right back up and ready to go again. Now to take the back off of the SodaStream shouldn't be difficult, so if you're struggling with it, this is important to pay attention to. All you need to do is to pull gently on the back of the thing and it pops right off. That's simple. So again, if you're struggling to pull the back of the SodaStream off, you shouldn't be struggling, it should be very easy. Now taking out the canister is just the opposite of putting it in. You just unscrew the canister, lift up the SodaStream, and then take out your canister. And you're good. Tip number 3. Buttons on top are blinking or your SodaStream just isn't working. Now if your SodaStream isn't working, what I recommend to do is to plug it out from power, take out the CO2 canister, put the CO2 canister back in, plug power back in, and give it another try. I haven't had any issue, but I've read in the comments on my last video that people were having issues with the buttons on top just blinking and their SodaStream not working. So what I recommend is to cycle power. If that doesn't work, take out the CO2, cycle power, and then try your SodaStream again. And if this doesn't help, I'm afraid you're gonna have to contact either tech support or maybe you have a defective product and you need to return it for a new one. Tip number 4. If before you use your SodaStream and you want to test that it's working without using any soda or water, test to see if it's working first. The lever on the SodaStream can be out or in. Either way, this will work because the SodaStream should work even without a bottle in and with this out or in. So to test it, you can either press down the lever if you have a manual system, or if you have the One Touch, you can just press the button twice and then see if it sprays. You can stop it with pressing another button, but then you know it's working properly. You can also test this without a CO2 canister in. So I have the CO2 out, and if you press the button twice, you'll hear it cycle. Of course, there's no gas coming out because there's no pressure, but you can hear it cycling through. Tip number 5. Filling the bottle past the line. Now you have your SodaStream bottle and you see a black line on there that shows your maximum fillage. I'm here to tell you that you can actually fill this past that line without this exploding everywhere. I have found on this bottle that is 840 milliliters. I don't know off the top of my head what that is in ounces or gallons, But if you have the standard bottle, they all should be about the same. I have found that you can fill the bottle up about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters past this line before it will blow up on you. A little bit more carbonated water for you to enjoy without having to fill up another bottle. Now, the one instance you will not want to overfill the bottle is if you're going for very high amounts of carbonation, because in that case, you might overflow the bottle while it's running through its cycle. Tip number 6. Now, this tip is also for all SodaStream users, and it is putting the bottle into the SodaStream itself. Now, this takes a little feeling and a little practice, but you'll get used to it. This is sticking the bottle into the SodaStream, and you need to do it with a little bit of force, so I recommend putting your hand on the top of the SodaStream, putting it in until it sticks and you hear it kind of hit the end of the SodaStream, and then once it's in, you push it back. You shouldn't be able to pull it down out of the SodaStream once it's in. If you can pull it down or you feel a little bit of wiggle, I would recommend taking it out again and then trying it once more, so that you know for sure that it's in and you're not gonna have anything happen after you press the start button on the SodaStream, that the water goes everywhere. Tip number 7. Now, this is a very handy tip if you want less carbonation in your water. If you have the One Touch, then you have 3 indicators of what you can choose. If your SodaStream is a manual one, this is a little bit easier because all you need to do is hold down the handle with less time. With the SodaStream, if you want a less amount of carbonation, you can press the button with a single drop on it, press it again to initiate the start of the carbonation. After it sprays, or even in the middle of a spray, you can press any button again and it will stop the carbonation, like so. I have the bottle in, I press the 1 button, it goes once, and I can immediately press it again and it stops. Now, if I want to stop it with any other button, you can also do that. So I press the 1, start it, and then I go to the 3 and I press it and it stops as well. So pressing any button after you initiate the carbonation will stop the SodaStream immediately. This either helps you get less carbonation, or if you press the SodaStream and start the SodaStream and the water starts spraying everywhere, you can run over, press the SodaStream button again, and it will also stop. So you don't have to let it run the full cycle with water spraying everywhere. Now, there is a part 2 to this, because if you want less carbonation and you didn't get to press the button to stop the carbonation, or you didn't release the hand pump fast enough, no problem. You can take the bottle, shake it up a little bit, let it degas itself inside, and then let out some of the carbonation that is built up inside of the bottle. That way you also have a little less. If you drink it and it's still too much, shake it up again, open it back up, try again to your liking, and repeat until you have the right amount of carbonation for your liking. Tip number 8. Now, this tip is the exact opposite of the tip before, because if you like super carbonated water, then don't let these buttons fool you, because you can press them more than once. You can go at it, full blast, full carbonation, and just let your bottle almost explode out of the bottom of this with as much carbonation as you want. However, if you are going to overcarbonate past these buttons, or even on the 3rd level, I recommend not passing the line on the bottle. You might have a little problem with overflowing. Tip number 9. You have now finished your first bottle and you want a second, but you don't have a second. This tip is to have a second bottle. If you didn't have a second bottle come in your package, I recommend getting a second bottle and keep it in your refrigerator to keep it cold, so when you run out of your first one, you go and grab the second one and you're ready to go. Now, if you don't want to spend the extra 10, 15, 20 bucks, however much this extra bottle costs, you could also just keep an extra glass in the refrigerator. If you do keep an extra glass in the refrigerator, make sure it will fill up an entire bottle. Otherwise, you'll be left with half a bottle full of cold water, and then you'll have to use the tap to fill up the rest. Tip number 10. Now, tip number 10 is for those that like extra flavor in their water, is when you're using a syrup. It can be a syrup from SodaStream, it could be another potent syrup, or it could be a syrup you made from home. It could be any syrup you like, but very important, make sure you add the syrup after you do the carbonation. And after you do the carbonation, wait even a few more seconds so that your soda doesn't explode once you put it in. So this isn't a good video unless I demonstrate it to you. So here we go. Top off, bottle into the SodaStream, activate number 1 because that's good enough for me. And I need to get a syrup ready, I imagine. I'll just pop this off. Now, if you're impatient, you quickly pop this out. You ready to throw in some syrup, you throw that in. and nothing happens. This must be a strange syrup, because this is supposed to explode. Let's get a little crazy and add another one in. There you go. So, gotta clean this up. So now that I've cleaned this up, I've also prepared for the next demonstration. And this is the same water from before with the syrup in it after I did the carbonation. This is gonna be a little different because it already has a little carbonation. So let me do a little shake and release. Just like a soda, it's gonna explode. You know what? Let me grab a different bottle. So this bottle doesn't have any syrup in it, but we're gonna change that. We're going to put some syrup in it. This is tonic, and maybe all syrups are a little bit different. So maybe some react differently when they get carbonation in them, but we're going to add syrup first and then do the carbonation. This is also a big no-no. I have my towels on my table, so I'm prepared for what's gonna happen because I've also experienced this before. A couple tips. If you do put this in with syrup in it and you forget, leave it in your SodaStream for a little while to let it calm down. Otherwise, you'll have this problem. Water in, and it's even a little overfull, so that's gonna be fun. Here goes nothing. It's starting to go. Oh boy. As you can see, you can leave it in for just a little while and maybe it won't explode on you. But if you release it, you release the bubbles. Okay, that's enough for me. I don't want to clean up my entire room. So I'm gonna let this sit here and then I'll come back for the bonus tip, bonus science experiment in just a minute. So earlier I said tip number 11 may or may not be a tip, and this is why. Because we are going to recarbonate a soda. Now I've never tried this, so you're gonna be able to watch me recarbonate maybe a soda for the very first time, but I have a feeling that it's going to be like adding a syrup and then carbonating the water. So to recarbonate the soda, you first need your flat soda. I have a light taste Coca-Cola that I have shaken up quite a few times. I'll even shake it up again, and you can see that it's very, very flat already. I can open it and it's not doing anything. To recarbonate your soda, you're first going to need enough soda to fill up to your line. And I am gonna recommend not to fill past the line, because we know if you fill past the line with sugar inside already, you run the risk of exploding afterwards. Now, if this does work, I would recommend, maybe recommend, we're gonna find out soon. I've never done this, so how can I recommend something stupid? We'll see if we need to leave it in or if we can immediately take it out, and I'll also do a taste test. I'm gonna do it on my level 2, just to see how it goes. In we go. Number 2. What happens? Oh, that's looking okay. It's looking okay. Looking a lot better than it was with the, oh. Whew. Okay, so we made a mess. You have your soda oozing out of the top. At least this cola light taste oozing out of the top. But nonetheless, let's see what it tastes like. Well, sort of recarbonated, but also after it's blown up, a lot of carbonation also escaped. So, tip number 11, do not try to recarbonate a soda. So that wraps up these tips and tricks for the SodaStream. I hope you enjoyed it and you've learned something new. If there is something that I missed, let me know in the comment section below. If you learned something new with these tips and tricks, also let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button, and if you know somebody that would benefit from this video, be sure you share it with them. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. It really helps me bring you more content like this, and much more content is on the way. I'm a relatively new channel, so your subscription will mean a lot to me. And last but not least, stay practical, and I'll see you in the next one.